Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into Dune Awakening and breaking down what I think are the top 5 fixes that could help fix the game mechanics. And I want to stress that specifically, these aren't bug fixes that I'm looking for. I expect the team to go after bug fixes. These are game mechanics that I think could actually end up help leveling up this game. Hey everyone, it is Ando90 and like I said, I've played now over 50 hours in Dune Awakening, and I've played every single content from the Deep Desert to PvE to PvP, all the different nodes in between. And, I've noticed some things that I think could get fixed game mechanic wise, and I want to just shout those out really quickly in this video. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, the first one is combat/AI. This is one that is going to come up with every single game. However, I would say that there needs to be some challenging AI, and I think there are some things that the AI just completely is lacking for. I know that, again, we see this in a lot of games, so I'm not super hopeful that they're going to get to this, but there are just times where I would like to see basically an alert level, meaning that if I enter into a spot and if I start to engage in combat with some of their allies, that essentially everyone in that room or everyone in that outpost or whatever that case is going to be on a higher level alert. That's not to say that they're all going to rush towards me and kind of gang up on me, as those times do feel pretty hectic. But I think that there should be a time where they're not sitting down, right? There's been times where I've been going through some of these labs and some of the AI just acts like no one should be there or anything like that. So I think it would make sense for there to be an alert level. And maybe if after a while you're just trying to heal up, and you kind of hide in a corner just to let them cool off a little bit, then the alert level kind of goes down. I think that could be a definite positive within the game and just level up the combat itself. I'm a little bit hot and cold on the next point, but for point number 2, I would like some sort of combat power or some sort of numerical score to kind of keep building up and keep gearing up and feel like I'm making that progression. Oftentimes in these games, one of the things that we feel the most is just that progressing towards the next level. Now, in games like this, you can get that from actually just fighting enemies and doing the other things like that. But I do think that there is something to be said about knowing that I'm attaching a rare or more a stronger or higher number inside of the gear that I once had, and that maybe that's what keeps people kind of grinding for the next level. I think those things are small, but again, it's something that I've noticed in a lot of different games, and I think the more you can make something be very similar in that scenario, the more people are going to keep playing and keep going towards upgrading their gear so that way they can kind of keep feeling like they've been progressing. It's a little bit of a minor one, but I think that a lot of people, this would actually fall into this bin. Okay, this one is definitely a one that I want to tread very lightly. If you guys watched my video where I talked about the Dune review, I actually called out that I was really happy that they didn't have any monetization where you could kind of shortcut and kind of pay to win to get your way through it. However, I understand the gaming model of 2025, and typically gaming companies need to make their end of the bargain essentially by, making money. And right now, one thing that does worry me is that there are just really no transactions that happen other than just buying the game. I've just deeply enjoyed this game. This game I want to see survive for years and years and years as long as updates and things are happening. However, for updates and stuff to happen like that, you need a monetization scheme, right? And typically what we've seen is all those things you can grind out for, we'll call it aesthetic looking, those you could monetize. Again, I want them to be very careful because this gets into a very, very sensitive spot for most gamers, as you never really want to feel like the time that you spent grinding could just be ushered in with monetization. However, again, knowing that a company must make money, and if the company makes money, then the game gets better because there's still people working on it. I would not mind seeing a carefully place monetization plan inside of the game. Okay, those first 3 points were I was a little bit hot and cold on. If they happen, great. If they don't, I'm also okay with it. But these next two to me are no-brainers and they must be done. It's something that I feel like they're just game mechanics that are broken and we need some way to get around it. They'd be huge quality of life, and even in one of them, they would actually be a big benefit and just help that game play out a lot. So for the first one, it's going to be organization of chests. I think there needs to be some sort of way that you can organize storage containers, whether that's be visual indicators like different colors or different swatches or something like that, or if you could just rename them, right? Hey, this is our weapons chest. Hey, this is our crafting chest. Hey, this is our whatever, right? And right now, a lot of the ways that I've seen guilds attacking this problem is they have sort of like a mini map that they've built inside, and they just have people kind of memorize where things go and try to make it as second nature as possible. However, that to me is a shortcoming of the game. The game needs to answer that inside of the game and not rely on people's organization skills. So I think that they could easily add either just a way to manage it and call it a different chest, or again, just add some sort of color to it, or, you know, maybe change something about maybe add like a logo onto the front of it. I think these would be small wins, but I think they would be wins nonetheless. And I think from a quality of life perspective, this is a no-brainer. Okay, this last one to me is also one that just shows that maybe the game is a little bit broken in the way that it was designed and or what is actually happening inside of the game. So when I first went to the deep desert, I went with a big party inside my guild. The cool part was that we got to roll in numbers. This is what I think they want to happen inside of the deep desert. Otherwise, why is there guilds of 32 people? I think this is something that they're looking for. I think they want to have big groups going into the deep desert and supporting each other. That makes sense, especially in PvP areas. That makes sense why you would also incentivize people to join guilds. All those things make sense. However, their party sizes only allow 4 people. So if you go into the deep desert like we did with 8 people, your parties actually lock onto each other. It is actually really hard once you start to get into waves and waves of PvE NPCs, plus the other players that are in your guild, plus any other players that come in and want to fight you or fight with you to help you clear out those NPC waves. You start to just lock onto everyone. You're accidentally shooting people, you are accidentally sorting people, you're using your specials on them instead of the people that you're actually trying to go for. This seems like a huge miss. I think they really need to look and fix this because, like I said, when we first dropped off onto the deep desert, we were all looking at each other like, whoa, what's going on? How can we tell who's who? And obviously we were even wearing the same uniforms and stuff like that, and we were still having troubles. So the other thing that needs to fix inside the deep desert is actually just the party system in general, but we'll just go with the first one. And you know that hopefully if you're within the same guild, you shouldn't be locking onto each other. So there you have it. There's my 5 key fixes to Dune Awakening. Let me know in the comment section which one you resonated the most with. Or if I forgot one, just go ahead and place that in the comments down below. You can also roast me as well, as I can take it. But those are the 5 that I noticed. Hopefully you guys noticed the same things. And hopefully someone from Funcom comes onto these and actually gets this going. The best way, though, that we can get attention to this is by sharing this and by liking it. So that way, hopefully they get this on their radar. I would greatly appreciate it as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.